What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Film Fanclub Show. My name's Sam Carrico, and I'm joined by Casey Rash. How are you doing, Casey?
I'm good.
Ricky couldn't be here today. He is probably going to hopefully join me for my SPECTRE spoiler review, but right now we got Casey, who is usually behind the scenes. She's usually helping out with the lighting, setting up the camera and whatnot. She's our production manager, but glad to have you here today.
Glad to be here.
So we're just going to jump right in. So first up, we have the movie news. The movie news is just the movie news topics that we found interesting, and then we'll jump into something old and something new after that. So first up, we have The Suicide Squad. The cast is on the cover of Empire magazine. Let's just take a look at that real quick. I'm going to put stuff in post-productions. That way you can actually see better pictures than what I'm holding up. But man, these look great. Look at these. We got the Joker, we got Harley Quinn, we got Deadshot, and we have the Enchantress. We got actually two posters for the Joker. Let me just read a little bit about what each cast member had to say about their role. Jared Leto said, "There was definitely a period of detachment. I took a pretty deep dive. This was a unique opportunity, and I couldn't imagine doing it another way. It was fun playing those psychological games. It was also painful, like giving birth out my prick hole." It sounds like a very Jared Leto comment. Cara Delevingne had this to say about her character, the Enchantress. She said she's an ancient sorceress, a feral being. She's been trapped for so long, and now she's finally let out, kind of playing in the whole theme of these characters coming out of the shadows after Man of Steel. And then we have, going on to Harley Quinn. She talks about how her character kind of looks like a prostitute with all the different costumes and whatnot. So that's a very interesting choice. And then actually, Will Smith had some pretty interesting comments about his character Deadshot. He's talking about how he's actually kind of eyeballing Harley a little bit. So there might be a little bit of a ragged romantic triangle there. So throwing it over to you, Casey, what did you think of these new pictures and what the cast has said about their roles in the film?
I love the pictures. I think, especially now, like Harley Quinn she's blown up from this. Yeah. It is amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's a really good, but also too, I agree what she's saying. She does look like a prostitute.
Yeah, she really does.
She does.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about this off camera before we started rolling. I was kind of hoping we'd get to see a little bit of her traditional Harley Quinn uniform, but I get why they have to modernize it a little bit. And you're right, you were just talking about, yeah, she's blown up. She's really been one of the most popular characters coming out of this new film, aside from Jared Leto.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see how he's going to play Joker. Like, it's going to be, like I was telling you, it's going to be hard trying to beat Heath Ledger,
all of them.
But I think he is going to do a great job. If anything, it's going to give us a new aspect on the Joker. Like,
it'll definitely give us different sides of his personality.
Yes,
you're right.
It's going to show something different. It's going to be interesting.
And we were talking about this a couple days ago. I kind of had wished that this had been my first exposure to the cast, because these pictures, they look great. Jared Leto, he's got his crocodile purple jacket on. He's got the Arkham pants going. You can see his tattoos, but they're not too prominent, not too distracting. He looks like the Joker. He looks flamboyant. He looks great. Like I said, I wish this was the first image that we had seen, because I kind of was a little bit iffy on the whole, shirtless picture with all the tattoos.
Oh yeah, I was too. I was like, what is this? This is not the Joker. But then once I started getting into it, I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah,
this is new.
You see the purple jacket a little bit, and you start to see more of those classic cues. So I'm really excited for the Suicide Squad. It comes out in August. And next up, you just saw this like literally 2 seconds ago. The international trailer for the Star Wars Force Awakens came out, and it revealed lots of new footage, a couple hints at these characters, maybe what they're like. And also we have these new posters, which I'll put up on screen so that way you can see them. We got Han, we have Finn, we have Kylo Ren, we have Rey, and then we also, of course, have Princess Leia. So, Casey, what did you think about for the trailer, the new international Japanese trailer, and then the accompanying posters?
I thought the trailer was pretty good, honestly. Like, I don't know. There's so much heat on Star Wars as it is.
Yes.
Like it's like at its main peak, and you're just like, ooh, what else can I do to beat this? I'm just like, oh, like I just love it. Anything to do with it right now, I'm just really into the whole Star Wars thing. Just like with everyone else, I'm into it.
That's true. It's really hard to find something that's really going to make us any more excited for the film. It's just going to continue adding to that that excitement. I love the little moment with Rey. She says, she talks about she's been looking for her family. We were talking about maybe that has some little indications of maybe who her parents are or something like that. Some great shot of Kylo Ren holding the sword up, or the lightsaber up against her neck. And so we get some more shots of that. Very, very interesting plot points. And it really, I found myself just grinning at the trailer. I know it's not an official trailer. It was funny enough because the last one that we talked about on last episode of the Film Fanclub Show, actually, they said that was going to be the trailer. So I was kind of like, okay, this is all we're getting. Got to wait till December. Then this comes out, and I'm like, whoa, oh my God,
it's completely. It's just like that icing on the cake.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's just, mwah.
It completely took me by surprise. So that was great. I really enjoyed seeing that. What do we have next? Next up, we have Wonder Woman. Chris Pine, he's been rumored for a little while, but now he's finally confirming that he's going to be in the film, presumably as Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's love interest. And director Patty Jenkins, Chris Pine said that Patty Jenkins is going to be shooting on film, as a matter of fact. So that's really interesting in this day and age.
It really is. Yeah. I love film movies, huge Tarantino fan, huge Kubrick fan, all of them. So just sticking to that tradition is pretty amazing on my part. I love it. You already know how much I love it.
Oh, I know. It really kind of gives it that classic feel and, old-timey, we're going to the movies, cinema, great type of aesthetic that it brings. I'm not sure how necessary it is to shoot on film because I'm not sure if that's going to be a major selling point for, today's audience. I don't know if they're going to be coming out to see a movie just because it's shot on film. It'll be interesting to see how Hateful Eight plays out because that's part of its major marketing campaign, to see it in glorious 70 millimeter. And but as far as Chris Pine being in the film, it makes sense. He's a great actor. I'm a little bit disappointed that he's not going to be Green Lantern. I was really kind of hoping he'd be Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, but hey, maybe we can hold out hope for getting the Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern, which is something I want to see. Also, I really liked the fact that Chris Pine, he's shown himself in other properties, Star Trek and whatnot. He's the lead guy in those, so it's kind of going to be interesting to see him taking a back seat, to Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in this film, and maybe put a little bit of a spin on gender roles maybe, and show him as the damsel in distress rather than Wonder Woman herself.
I think that just from him stepping back, that'll show how good his acting really is. Sometimes you always have those people that always are up front, and they can never play a back character.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Yes, exactly. And it's really interesting to see how or what they can put into it.
Yeah, with a secondary role rather than a bigger one. So maybe there'll be more quality over quantity. Maybe he'll have some really meaty stuff to work with, but maybe not detract from Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. I'm not sure how you say her name, but that's my biggest probably trepidation with the new Wonder Woman film is we don't know how Gal Gadot is as far as an actress. She's a former model. I haven't seen any of her previous work, so we're really going to be, my excitement for the Wonder Woman film will really hinge on how she's portrayed in Batman vs. Superman and how that does. And we're kind of talking a little bit off camera. We're not sure how pivotal the Wonder Woman movie is in terms of the larger DC universe. We need Batman vs. Superman to introduce us to Batman and the Justice League. We need Suicide Squad to introduce us to Batman's world of villains. We need Justice League for obvious reasons. But where does Wonder Woman fit into this? It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Exactly.
And so I think that's it for that one. Moving right along, next up we have the Alice in Wonderland sequel, Through the Looking Glass. The trailer came out, and Tim Burton's not directing, but he's producing, but it takes his visual cues from the original film. Johnny Depp's returning as the Mad Hatter. Mia Wasikowska is returning as Alice and looks bland as ever. And it looks like it's going to be a search to save the Mad Hatter from Father Time or something like that, who's played by Sacha Baron Cohen.
So different.
Yeah. What do you think? What were your initial reactions to the trailer?
I was kind of like, oh wow, another Johnny Depp movie. Of course, another Johnny Depp movie. That's going to be interesting. Personally, I didn't really like the first one. Like, it's not that I didn't like it, but it just wasn't my favorite.
You're not alone. A lot of people were disappointed by the last film.
So it's just kind of like, oh, that's cool.
They're doing another one of those.
There's another one.
Yeah,
you know? It wasn't
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I have to see this.
Not
but
even.
It's going to be interesting to see how they pull it off.
It definitely will, and it'll be nice to see a different story. Because I really one thing I liked about the previous film was the aesthetic of it. I liked the way it looked. I liked the way the character designs were. I liked how they interacted with each other. Maybe I still think Wasikowski was really bland, and I don't see her changing her performance for this film. But I didn't like the story that the first film was based around. So I think maybe with that aesthetic style, that type of world and, like I said, style, applied to a new story, which is what we're getting here, maybe that will be more fun, more an enjoyable film altogether.
Yeah, I see I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, I hope that because I don't like prophecy movies. I don't like, oh, you're the chosen one, and that's what the previous movie was. Alice fighting the Jabberwocky or whatever, and it was just a really big letdown because I would have liked to have just seen an adaptation of the actual book, straight up Alice in Wonderland, and I don't know how true this film is going to be to the novel Through the Looking Glass, which it's loosely based on, but it'll be interesting to see. So that is it for that, unless you have anything else about Alice in Wonderland.
It's going to be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see. I just wish the first film would have been better because
I think if the first film would have been better, I would be more hyped on it.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't a bad trailer. It was a good trailer.
It wasn't bad, but it's just like, oh, Johnny Depp. That's really all you can, that's all you see in it is Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and another thing is Johnny Depp just did Black Mass, in which we did a review on this channel. Be sure to check it out. But we really enjoyed Black Mass, and we were kind of hoping, me and Ricky talked about how hopefully he'll do more roles like that, more dramatic roles with less makeup and not just go back to his cartoon type characters.
And that's exactly what he does.
And that's what he's doing, going back to that Alice in Wonderland, Pirates of the Caribbean money. But he's a working actor. Who can blame him, I guess. Next up, we have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The Harry Potter prequel starring Eddie Redmayne released a bunch of pictures in Entertainment Weekly magazine. I'll put the pictures up again in post-production so that way you can see what we're talking about, but he looks like, I'll start off on this one. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I watched the last 3 or 4 movies, and they were really good. I liked how they got dark, and I really like David Yates' direction, and David Yates, he directed those last 3 or 4 movies of the Harry Potter franchise, and he's coming back to this one. So I liked seeing that continuity carried over. I like Eddie Redmayne from what I saw of him in Les Miserables and The Theory of Everything. I didn't see Jupiter Ascending, so I don't have that going against it, because I heard that was just awful. But it looks very good. It definitely looks. I love seeing the wands. I love seeing he's in New York rather than England. So I like the different cultural change. The costume is a little bit of a question mark because he looks just like the 11th Doctor. Like that's all I see. He looks like a mixture of the 11th Doctor with the 4th Doctor.
Oh, I know. I see that. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, but I can still see that.
Yeah,
that says something whenever I can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about that the entire time. But I mean, otherwise, it looks pretty fun. It looks like Harry Potter. Looks like he's back in action. I never thought we'd see anything like that Wizarding World again. Just seeing those David Yates, those cameras, and those wands, and that whole set design just really puts you back in the world. Casey, how did you feel about the pictures?
I like the pictures, honestly. It makes it look interesting. I never really got into Harry Potter either, but it really I think it's going to give it something fresh, something new, and it's going to, I'm definitely going to have to check it out.
Do you think that if someone who had not seen the previous Harry Potter films at all, or maybe had just been like a casual fan, maybe like I was, do you think that they will need to watch this is pure speculation, we don't know on our part, but we were just wondering, do you think that maybe they'll need to watch the other films, or do you think they can go into this new film with a blank slate?
I believe that they could probably just see it without seeing the old Harry Potters.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably going to give a Hobbit type of thing. I think that's how I kind of speculate on it.
Yeah, because this new film will be set 70 years before Harry Potter even started his wizarding career, so it'll have enough buffer time, because I don't like it when movies are just prequels just to set up all the stuff that we've already seen, because that's not very interesting.
Kinda like
but
Star Wars?
Yeah, like the Star Wars prequels.
Like Star Wars.
Star Wars prequels, let's not get into that. Yeah, no, this film looks like it could bring something new to the table that will be something that we haven't seen before. Like I said, the going to America kind of thing across the pond. That'll be really interesting. I'm really liking. I can't wait to see what this new character is like. Newt Scamander or whatever that Redmayne is playing. His visual aesthetic looks cool and everything. Love the 11th Doctor look, but it'll be interesting to see what his actual character personality is like.
Exactly.
And we were going to talk about the Warcraft trailer, but that, as of right now, has not been released yet, so we can't talk about that. Might do a trailer reaction or something. But anyways, that's it for the movie news topics. Let us know in the comments what you thought about that. Is there anything in the world of movie news that we missed? Well, there is a lot, but anything that you want to talk about, let us know in the comments section below. Moving over into something old, not very old. I saw on Netflix on Halloween. It is called The Babadook. It is a horror film. It's like an indie horror film written and directed by this woman who I cannot remember the name of right now. I literally just watched the trailer, but I can't remember her name. But it was a great film. It has like it's in the 90% range.
Is it really?
Like, yeah, I think it's over 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's definitely worth seeing it. You haven't actually seen The Babadook yet.
No, I've seen parts
of it, and
I've
then
seen the trailer. I heard it's really good.
You gonna see it?
I'm gonna see it, but I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Just haven't seen it. I'm just like, oh.
It's a really interesting film. It's got some nice metaphors because it's about this mother and daughter, or excuse me, mother and son, who they lost the father, and it's kind of a metaphor about grief, getting over it, moving on, and being happy. And in the Babadook, the creature itself, the Babadook, really personifies that, and it really presents it in a way that's really interesting. It's got a questionable ending, but the cool thing I like about questionable endings is it makes you think about it. It makes you, for 30 or so minutes after the film at least, you're sitting there wondering, you're trying to piece together, how did that, it's like the ending to Inception or something like that. I love endings like that.
It makes you want to watch it again.
Exactly, or like, Donnie Darko or something like that. Ricky's favorite film. Fun fact about Ricky. Yeah, The Babadook is a great film. I really liked it. I don't know if I'd give it in the 90% range. I'd probably give it, I don't know, it's a good film. I say that, but I'm like, what did I not like about it? I don't know. It's a great.
One of those movies that makes you think.
Yeah, I'm not the best. Horror films are not really my thing, but being that I watched this on Halloween, Netflix, just watching it before I went to a party, got all dressed in my costume, my Clark Kent costume, and but it was a really enjoyable experience. I'll probably, I was gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10, but why not? I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I can't really think that much that I didn't like about the film. It's great. There's a couple cliche moments, but what horror film doesn't have a couple cliches? Exactly. They're staples in the genre at this point. So, moving right along, that's something old. 9 out of 10 for The Babadook. Really liked it. Check it out on Netflix, and also be sure to check out my Netflix picks video that I did with my girlfriend Hannah. You'll like that as well. Moving on to something new, I saw this last night. SPECTRE, the new James Bond film. You've seen the trailers. You haven't seen the movie though.
Have not seen the movie.
Let's just measure your level of excitement. How excited for SPECTRE are you?
I'm pretty excited, honestly.
You a Bond fan?
I am. I like some Bond. I can get into it.
You like Christoph Waltz as well? You're interested to see how he's doing?
I want to see how he's doing. But from what I've heard, from what you said, he really doesn't have that much time in it.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get into that. The film is coming off the heels of the fantastic, probably one of the best Bond films I've ever seen in Skyfall. This is the direct sequel to Skyfall. There's a lot of connections to that film particularly, and Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace as well. It tries to kind of tie together all of the Daniel Craig James Bond plot points up until this point. It tries to tie them all up, which is a little bit weird because Daniel Craig still has one more film that he's on contract to do, so I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a finale or what, but it's directed by Sam Mendes. He's returning from Skyfall. It has a lot of the same writers and production team and whatnot behind it. It's very aesthetically pleasing film. This movie opens up, it's got one tracking shot that lasts for like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's just fantastic. Going through Mexico City, the Day of the Dead festival, got great scenery going on. I can't remember if Roger Deakins was the cinema. I meant to look this up before we started shooting, but Roger Deakins, who shot, he's the cinematographer for Skyfall, Sicario, lots of other great films. I'm not sure if he returned for this film, but if he did, I wouldn't be surprised because this film is aesthetically beautiful. The villains are all right. I was about to say the villains are great, but no. Christoph Waltz, they really hype him up in this movie, and he is in it for, I think I told you, 3 or 4 scenes.
Yeah.
Of course, the last scene that he's in is a long scene, but I'm not sure if he has more than 15, 20 minutes of screen time total.
That's very, that's very sad. That's very unpleasing.
Yeah, that was one of your biggest selling points.
That was one of my biggest points. I was so excited. about Christoph Waltz. Like, because I heard about Daniel Craig and how, he was kind of like, oh.
He's not really excited about playing
So
Bond
I was
again,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'll push off of Daniel Craig and I'll go up to Christoph Waltz. And I was like, yes. And
at least he's there.
Oh, yeah, at least he's there.
But that you mentioned Daniel Craig, and he definitely looks like he is bored in this film. And that's unfortunate because it's James Bond, You're driving a boat out of a crashing building with a girl on your arm, just defeated the bad guy. It's awesome. Everything's cool. But then, and he's just, like, he literally looks like he could be checking his watch, and it's unfortunate because we talked about on the last episode of the Film Fan Club his notorious or infamous comments about how he would rather slash his wrists and play this role again, but it really unfortunately shows through. I don't know if it's just because I was looking for that or if it's because it just shows through, but nonetheless, he looks bored. Christoph Waltz, in the scenes that he is in, he does a good job. He does a serviceable job. He's not going to be anywhere near Inglourious Bastards kind of level of a great villain, but he does a good job. There's a really nice reveal about his character. I won't explain what it is, but if you're a Bond fan from going back even to the 60s, you'll enjoy the reveal. Although the reveal is epic and it's great, and I wish that they would have saved it for a better movie. Because like I said, this villain, the reveal about Christoph Waltz's character is great. Part of it is great. It's half great, half good, because then they go into this other, they try and make him personally tied to 007, and it's very shoehorned, very convoluted, and the way you saw it in the trailer, he says, "It was me, James, the author of all your pain." And it's like, how did he cause the events of Casino Royale and Skyfall? It doesn't make sense, but
doesn't tie it together.
No, it tries to tie it together, but it's very sloppily kind of tied together, but
that could be very disappointing.
It was very disappointing. Ricky, he saw it last night as well. He texted me. He really didn't like the film. He was very disappointed with it. I feel like I liked it more than him. I'm not sure what he'll give it as a rating. I should have asked him, but I will give Spectre because it is still well shot. The fight scenes are great. It's a Bond film. This feels more so than any of Daniel Craig's other films. It feels more so like a Bond film, and that's great. But is the story something that you need to rush out and see? Is it something that the casual film fan is going to love? I'm going to say no, unfortunately. And I'm probably going to give, man, this really sucks. I'm probably going to give Spectre a 6.5 out of 10, which is what I gave Crimson Peak. It's what I gave The Visit. It's something that, if you're a Bond fan, you'll enjoy. If you want to see, if you liked the trailers and you like what you've seen so far, you'll probably like it. But if you read that leaked script that got leaked at the end of 2014 when Sony got hacked, then you'll like it. But if you're kind of hoping for something a little bit more, if you're hoping for another Skyfall, you're not going to get another Skyfall. I'm sorry. This is not anywhere near a Skyfall. Skyfall is like a 9. This is a 6.5. So that's... yeah, maybe a 7. Maybe a 7 on a good day. Ask me again on our spoiler review. So be sure to check out our spoiler review. Hopefully I can convince Ricky. If not, I'll get Casey.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see it at least by Sunday.
By Sunday. So
by Sunday.
We'll have to do a little something for you guys. Anyways, be sure to check that out. Check out previous episodes of the Film Fan Club Show. Tell your friends. Tweet us using the hashtag AskFilmFanClub and get your questions on the air. We don't have time for that right now. Sorry, guys. But... anyways, I think that'll do it for this episode of the show. Casey, where can people find you on Instagram and whatnot?
You can find me on Instagram at CaseyDawn15. You can also find me on Twitter at CaseyDawn15.
Nice.
Yeah.
See? And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Vimeo at Samuel D. Carrico. You got a Vimeo?
I do not have a Vimeo.
Get a Vimeo, and we'll start plugging her Vimeo. So yeah, at CaseyDawn15, at Samuel D. Carrico. That's it for the Film Fan Club Show. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be sure to see you guys next time. Farewell. Ricky always says that. I don't know why.
Farewell.
Farewell.
Have a great day.